kings and queens and everybody in between. I am Ashley Michelle, and welcome to my podcast, The Goddess Complex. I am the host and resident witch. If you're new here, welcome home. It has been a little bit, friends. I hope we've all been enjoying ourselves, enjoying the fall season, enjoying the vibes, right? Fall is like such a vibe, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. It's a space and time and a time and space where we can truly just like chill, right? Pachamama is slowing down. The leaves are changing colors. It's getting a bit more brisk. Everybody's taking their time. It truly is a whole vibe and a half. So I hope you're enjoying it. At the time that I'm recording this, it's the 21st. If we are not in Scorpio season today, we will be tomorrow. So let's get ready for all the feels. Feels so good. But without further ado, because, you know, we got things to do today, darlings, and I have about 30 minutes with us today, this morning. I wanted to answer your questions. So you may or may not know I put on a question poll on my stories for October, and I think we're going to do this every month because I really like it. It's a way for you all to pick my brain and for me to pick your brain and to just kind of see like what you've been up to, what you want to know about me, my relationship, what's going on in my world, my business, starseed shadows, all the good things, and like my history. So I put a poll up a couple weeks ago and I got so many questions. So let me grab my phone. Let's get to it. And again, like I said, we'll be doing this again for November. So if you didn't get a chance to ask, you can later on. I'm going to move this back just a tad. Okay. I'm like high key hoping to God that the video is fine. Okay. So let's see what we have here. And while I'm pulling this up, remember, my darlings, please, 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 like, give me a 5-star review, share the podcast, The Goddess Complex, with a friend, share it with your partner, share it with your mama, share it with a loved one. This is how we get this soul work out to the people that need it most. It's through sharing and connection. And for that, I need you all to help me do that. Okay? Okay. First question. Will you redo a wedding photo shoot after your transformation success? So I hadn't really thought about it. I hadn't really thought about that at all. I'm not opposed to it. So I love photo shoots in general. I love getting my picture taken. It's just super fun to play dress up and really get into the moment. I would highly consider it, but honestly, I'm leaning more towards like a couple's boudoir shoot for like V-Day. I kind of think that would be really, really hot, but I have to get Manuel down for that, and that's a whole nother story. So TBD. How long before you noticed muscle definition? So I've always been a muscular chick, so I will say that. And you all have to remember too, I have a long history with teaching spin, which is arguably, out of all like the cardiovascular activities you could do, one of the more cardio, like high intensity cardio activities that can help you build muscle, because you're climbing up hills on a bike, you know what I mean? But new muscle, right? So like I've noticed a lot of new muscle growth in my arms and stuff like that, and the lines coming in my tummy. I'd probably say about 6 months of consistent work. And, you know, that's being good with my water, that's getting my sleep in, taking my supplements, which, by the way, all my supplements are 1UP Nutrition. Shout out 1UP Nutrition, code ASHM, will save you 20%. So 6 months of consistent work, I would say personally, but everybody is different. Everybody is different. What lifestyle changes did you initially make to get started on losing weight? Oh my God, I'm still making lifestyle changes. So I stopped going out as much, right? Because like I've mentioned before, but it's worth repeating, like alcohol does not do you any favors when it comes to weight loss. It just doesn't. I know it kind of sucks because it's like, well, I want to be able to drink like spiked apple cider with my friends. You know what I mean? I wish I could tell you different, but there is sacrifice involved when you are on a weight loss journey. It is a part of it, especially if you're looking to lose like big numbers. So I had to stop going out with my friends as much. And also change activities, right? So if we only went to the bars together, maybe we did something different, you know? I also stopped eating super late, right? The late night eating, late night snacking, midnight snacking doesn't do the body any favors either. I don't believe in the whole stop eating 2 hours before bed thing. You can, but from what I understand, there's not much proof to back up that statement. So why do that to yourself? But it really is about how often you're eating. So you should be eating, 4 to 6 times a day. Some of us might need 6, some of us might need 4, but most of us eat like twice a day, and one of them being really late at night. So that's going to be really important. Also making the time for my workouts, very important. And not letting my mind dictate whether or not I'm going to work out. Andy Frisella calls it the bitch voice, right? When you try to negotiate with your workouts. Like, let's say you're supposed to go at 11, but then you're like, oh, I could really just go at 2. Or you're like, maybe I'll go at 5. And then you're like, I'll just double up tomorrow. Getting control of that bitch voice that comes in is really going to help as well. So, lifestyle changes I implemented. I suppose too, what I was ingesting like content wise, I learned about the sport of bodybuilding through like podcasts and YouTubers and books and TikTok. I learned about weight loss in the body. As you guys know, I'm doing my personal training certificate. So obviously there was still space to ingest content that was lighter, for lack of a better word, but like Love is Blind or like something like that. But I really made a point to ingest content around the body and around health and fitness, because like attracts like, spiritual universal law. So if I'm looking to create traction around weight loss, right, and body positivity, that I must surround myself intentionally with topics, themes, people, and places that are doing the same thing. The same goes for spiritual entrepreneurship. But actually, what is your favorite book and why? Oh, God. What is my favorite book? So the first book that came to mind when you asked was Conversations with God. If you all don't know it, Conversations with God is one of the very first spiritual books I was introduced to. It's a series by Neale Donald Walsch. And it really blasted open my third eye at such a young age. I believe that book was deeply responsible for one of my very first past life regressions. Not necessarily past life regressions, spiritual awakenings is what I want to get at. Super responsible for one of my very first spiritual awakenings. And because I believe that we have multiple spiritual awakenings over time. He's a channel, Neale Donald Walsch. He's a channel, and he's channeling God. He's channeling Source, God, Universe. And there's lots of deep, deep conversation around a lot of things there. So I highly suggest it's a part of your collection, for sure. Did you manage to get married on the Pisces moon like you wanted to? LOL, I love that. We did. We also had a hurricane. Our wedding was so watery. I think it was very fitting for 2 Cancer risings. He's a Cancer rising. His ascendant is in Cancer, and so is mine. We got married. It was like on or right around. I can't remember what exactly was happening in the chart at the moment. But it was on or right around, and we did. And it was super watery and super intuitive. And like the hurricane that happened, I wouldn't have had it any other way, though. It happened exactly how it was supposed to. So, yeah. What is your biggest daily internal battle that you conquer to keep at it every day? Ooh, good question. What is my biggest daily internal battle that I conquer to keep at it every day? That somebody's listening, I think. I think my biggest internal battle is this idea that I'm on a TV show that is so matrixy and so 3D, and I do this very multi-dimensional soul work for a living, right? And I get deep, and I love shadow work, and I love to talk about super deep things and help people develop personally. And then there's this archetype, this kind of character of myself on this very 3D platform, which I'm grateful for and I'm thankful for, because it really has helped extend my reach. I believe I'm a leader of New Earth, and I believe a lot of the folks that come into my universe are also leaders of New Earth. Some of us are just leaders of New Earth in different levels. And so for me, in this lifetime, I have a South Node in Leo. I decided that I was going to be a sort of infiltrator of putting some of this soul work on a very huge platform that can sometimes be really scary, because what people don't understand, they judge and they don't trust and they feel odd about it, you know? And so I think an internal battle is like bringing these two worlds together and not exactly knowing how or why or how long it's going to take, or should we separate these worlds, and then how do we bring the fitness component into it, right? And because this is a huge part of my story as well. I wouldn't have been able to lose over 100 pounds if I wasn't spiritual. If I was not a spiritual teacher or guide, I would not have been able to lose over 100 pounds, period. It wouldn't have happened. I needed a deep level of self-awareness to get to where I am in my fitness journey. And there's truth and guidance behind that as well that needs to be incorporated within the business. So I think my biggest internal battle right now is mushing together these three worlds really in something that feels cohesive and authentic and of integrity, and also gets the point across to baby witchlings, to mystics who have been doing their spiritual work, to folks that are on a fitness journey, and to folks that just love reality TV, right? How do we create messaging that sticks out and that is cohesive? So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. What is your current diet? You look great, by the way. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. My current diet, lots of protein. I eat a lot of protein, so in the form of cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, fresh berries, protein shakes, protein water, meats. I'm a meat eater, so love a good steak, love shrimp. We eat a lot of ceviche here at the house. Manuel makes amazing ceviche. If I am eating bread, it tends to be low carb, or like bagel thin type breads, those sorts of things. I keep it simple for dinner, a protein source and a veggie source. And if I'm allotted the carbs, you know, the carbs I tend to go to are like russet potatoes, sweet potato, or rice. That's about it. Every now and then I'll throw in some low carb pasta. I'm actually going to prep some low carb pasta for this week, actually today. So I'm going to do that with like 93% lean ground beef and Rouse, RAO, low carb sauce. Lots of tuna. Tuna cucumber is a go-to meal. Fish is also a go-to meal. I actually just saw on a TikTok that because of the mercury levels in tuna, you really shouldn't consume tuna more than twice a month, which is so sad because I love it more than twice a month. But there are fish like cod, and flounder, which I love flounder, that you can incorporate weekly in your diet. So I'll probably just incorporate more flounder and less tuna over the next couple months. But that's my diet. It's winter season, so we're going to be doing a lot of crock pot meals. I just made a chili, you know, with, again, lean meat, beans, veggies, all of that. We ate that up in a couple of days. So I'm probably going to find some more crock pot meals that work into my macros. So that's what my diet looks like for the most part. Yeah. How do you handle the negative people of social media? you block them out. So I block them out. I purposely don't put myself in situations where I know I might come across somebody's negativity. Like, I don't go on Reddit. I don't Google myself. I don't read articles about myself. I don't go on Facebook and see what's going on there. Like, I stay in my lane, right? There's also a deep level of self-awareness that you have to have. Being a reality TV star, being in the public eye is not easy all the time. There's perks to it, and there's also non-perks to it, right? It's a little bit of both. So it's like, you have to also understand too that people project. Like, if somebody is taking the time to find you on social media and like call you a nasty name or spread a lie about you or say something off color, that's a more them thing than it is a you thing. Like, who has the time to do that? I don't know about you, but I'm busy building my empire. I don't have the time to go hunt somebody down and tell them why they suck. That's between them and God if they truly do suck. And that has nothing to do with me. Those are the major ways how I just kind of stay out of it. I know what I'm here to do. And I deeply believe in the work that I'm here to do. And I also have clients in my universe that need me. I don't have the time, the energy, or the space to be like depressed in my bed because fucking Betty Sue tweeted some nasty shit about me from her mother's basement. I don't give a fuck about you, Betty Sue. You put the energy elsewhere because that energy has nothing to do with me. And we also need to understand too that we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. I'm not for everybody. I'm for exactly who I'm for. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm for you. If you're watching it on the YouTube, I'm for you. If you like what I'm putting down, I'm for you. And if not, then that's okay too. Either way, I'm still going to keep doing my big one because it makes me happy. And when we follow the joy, that leads us one step closer to the energy of God, the God experience. And God is nothing but pure love and joy. And I always want to be in that energy. I'm saying that at 11:11, by the way. And I always want to be in that energy because that energy, what did I say before? Like attracts like. So when we sit in the energy of joy, fullness, and abundance, we create more joy, fullness, and abundance. And I just want a life full of that, full of magic, Will you have loose skin surgery? I hope so. I hope so. I would like to. Why are you so fucking amazing? Stop. Thank you. Mwah. How much weight did you lose? I am teetering around like 120 to 135. 135 pounds lost. I'm still going. I'm not done yet. Right now, my body's kind of in this teetering phase since I'm not officially in prep anymore. I'm on macros, but we're still going. Does Manuel support my competitions? I guess we'll just have to find out, won't we? Any successful spell work to get pregnant? I don't really do fertility spell work, but I know you can look up a lot of different fertility spell stuff. But that's not really my area of expertise, so I don't really want to sway you either way. What I can say is you can't just lean into sex magic. And I've said this before, I've talked about this on the show. Sex magic can be something as simple as when you and your partner are both about to orgasm, you focus your energy on that with what you want. What you want. So what do I mean by that? You want a baby as you're literally getting ready to orgasm. Imagine you giving birth or you holding your baby in your hands or what your baby's face might look like. That's the sort of energy you can use. And I found sex magic to be very successful in general. Best areas to live around Rochester. We'll be moving in a couple of months there. Oh, I love that for you. Irondequoit's one of the top areas to move to right now. Brighton is a really beautiful area as well. The South Wedge is nice if you want to be where all like the hubbub is. Yeah, Webster's cute too. It's a bit too far, but it's cute. But I mean, I would suggest Irondequoit out of all the areas. You get the best of both worlds. How did you lose all that weight? Pretty inspiring. Thank you so much. Multiple ways. So I have been on a weight loss journey for quite some time. I got VSG surgery in 2021, I believe. And then I started my Buongiorno journey in 2023. And it has all gotten me down to over 100 pounds lost. I've been in the gym my whole life pretty consistently. I've been in the gym very consistently over the last 3 years. Weightlifting totally changed the composition of my body, totally changed how I carried fat and how I carried weight. It totally changed how toned I looked. Weightlifting was a game changer for me. And cardio, moving your body. I've been a spin instructor on and off for 8 years. I've been on as a spin instructor for the last 4 years. So holding myself accountable in that cardio space has been super helpful. And then also food. Food, babes. Like, so just because I'm on Buongiorno doesn't mean I don't eat. I eat all the fucking time. I eat all the time. Okay? Food is so important, and you have to be aware of the sorts of foods that you're choosing. There's really no way around it, babes. No way around it. Food is the most important out of everything I said here. How do you celebrate Samhain? Every year it changes. This year, we will be honoring the new moon in Scorpio in my Witchy Wellness support group. I'll link it down below if you want to join us. So we'll be together for Samhain. I'm probably going to clear off my altar for Samhain and probably do some seed work, since we're also working with a new moon in Scorpio for 2025. Working, because 2025 is a hermit year. So like working with the energy of the hermit, working with some of the goals that we have for 2025, working with what's next. I may even start my vision board as well, a number of ways. So, yeah. Did you get rid of your dreadlocks? Nope, they're here. How do you get into tarot and how did you start? Well, you get your deck first of all, and you learn and you become really, really intimate with the cards, like super intimate with the cards. So it's about like understanding that no card is an island and the cards tell a story. Like that's what they're here to do. They tell a story. And so you have to allow yourself to understand that story that's being told. Get a tarot tutor. I do teach tarot. I just finished a private client. I've got one more space left for this year. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can book a consultation call in the show notes. I'll make sure to add that. Keep a tarot journal. Very important. And take a class. Did the show make you twist stories for drama? I know you and your guys sure seem in love. Well, we are in love for sure. And nobody made us do anything. I think that it's a matter of understanding your audience and understanding the world that you're playing in, right? Whether it's in reality TV, whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's in your hometown, whether it's, in certain work partnerships. You have to understand the world that you're playing in and the reason why you're playing in it. And so I knew and I know that there is a reason why my soul and my partner's soul has chosen to play in a world that is reality TV. And so we work through it, we work with it, and we keep it pushing. Yeah, so there's that. How many competitors were there for transformation in your show? 53. Are you still with Manuel? Have you met his children yet? I am still with Manuel, and via Zoom I have. Are you keeping your hair like that? It's so you. Are you talking about the wig? Shannon? I'm going to keep playing with Shannon. She's cute. I'm going to continue adding to Shannon too, like adding other wigs. I I'm a mutable sign. Sagittarius is mutable energy. So I love the energy of creation and recreation and playing in the matrix. So I enjoy being able to change things up. It's really fun. So what am I going to do next? I don't know, but definitely something fun. How did you stay on track with cravings of bad food? I'm on my journey 6 weeks in. Substitution. You substitute. You find the things that you love the most and you find substitutes for them. So for example, I love pasta. I've mentioned this before. I'm a savory girl. Love savory stuff. So if I love like pasta or like chips and dip, what sort of things can I substitute so that I can still feel like I have that pizza? I love pizza and still be okay. Cauliflower pizza. I mean, obviously it's not gonna be the same as like a nice thick crust. I'm from upstate New York. We love our thick crust pizza up here. Like, but it's still gonna help that craving. Or you can even do a tortilla pizza with keto low carb tortillas, and that works just fine too. Turkey pepperoni, you know what I mean? Light ranch instead of the full flavor ranch. You can even make your ranch with the powder. Chip and dip, you can do tuna and cucumbers. Pasta, you can do the high protein pasta with the Rouse sauce. A substitution for sure. If you like candy, Russell Stover's makes a huge line of sugar-free candy. And the macros are not that bad, even if you eat the whole bag. So there are ways around it for sure. What was the point when you started transformation? So like I've mentioned, I've always had a weight issue. I was never a thin kid, ever. I remember getting my first pair of jeans in like middle school, and they were like a size 16 and they were too tight. You know, never been a thin kid. I've never experienced being this little, never experienced not having to shop in the plus size arena until now, ever. So when people ask me when I started my transformation journey, it's never stopped. I think I started it when I realized that I was bigger than all the other girls, and that was in like middle school, right? Did I start it in the healthiest of ways? No. I think what you guys are actually asking is, when did I start it in a way that stuck? I think that's what you're asking. And I started it in a way that stuck 3 years ago. 3 years ago. But I've always struggled with my weight. I've always had the slim fast, the hydroxy cut. I remember like everybody's a Pilates girly now. Like, shout out to the people in the back that remember when Pilates was on infomercials and you could buy the DVDs. Yeah, I still have those. Okay? I still have all of them. Turbo Jam, still got them. I'm going to keep them too, because I feel like this is going to be like early 2000 millennial memorabilia like 50 years from now. So I'm going to keep it. But like, always, guys, I used to have like, I think about it, I'm thinking about it now, it was so fucking toxic. Like a wall of like Tyras and Twiggies and Carmen Electras and like, you know, bodies of people that were just unfucking realistic. This was like before Kim K made it hot to have an ass and hips, right? You know, and it just was crazy. So I've always been on this journey of not feeling safe or correct in my body, if that makes sense. And that's the best way to say it. I just never felt like my body was my own, ever. You know, I wasn't somebody who like ate double cheeseburgers in the car. I wasn't somebody who like hid food. I was actually quite active. Did I have the best eating practices? No. I think drinking put weight on for me. And I think eating twice a day and very late and eating heavy carb put weight on for me. I think my lifestyle had a huge impact on my weight gain. Versus the lifestyle that is very direct and in your face, like, bitch, why are you eating that shit? Like, you're eating like 3 Twinkies a day. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. You know what I mean? That wasn't me, but it was something else. So, yeah. What do you think of an Aquarius, Capricorn, Aquarius rising being married to an Aquarius? Okay, that's a loaded question, and I don't fully understand it. Aquarius and Capricorn are interesting. Here's what I think. I think when it comes to compatibility astrology, you need the full chart. Because on paper, shout out to all my astrologers listening, I'm a Sagittarius and my husband is a Scorpio. Traditionally, they never get along. Like, they do not work for so many reasons. You know, we're talking fixed versus mutable, introvert versus extrovert, you know, power hungry versus explorative. Like, we're talking about so many different things. But then when you put the charts together and you see so many of the similarities, I'll give you guys two right now. We both are Cancer rising, so we both present very emotionally. We both present very nurturing. We both present like, you know, the mother, the divine mother. He has an air sign moon, Gemini. I have an air sign moon, Aquarius. So our emotional bodies, the way we interpret emotions is very, very similar. But our sense of self, our egos, the sun sign, couldn't be more opposite. And I could go on and on and on. And so that's why having a birth chart is so, so fucking important in having an astrologer is so important because there's so much that we could take out of it. And so, two sun signs incompatibility, one could tell you based off that, but it's not going to be an accurate depiction. What website do I need to go on to find me a foreign man? Hell, LOL. I don't know. I didn't meet my man on a website. I met my man old school, baby. So, yo no sé, yo no sé. And guys, we got through everything. Yes, darlings, yes. Okay, my loves. So make sure you like the episode, share the episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. We'll be doing another Q&A for the month of November. And thanks for stopping by the Goddess Complex podcast. And I love you so much. And remember that you truly are limitless, but only if you believe it. Ciao, ciao for now. Oh, hey. Welcome back to another episode of the Goddess Complex with Ashley Michelle. If you're new here, welcome home. I'm coming at you again from my bed. I don't know, guys. I'm really into this bed podcasting. Podcasting? I don't like that. I have to think up a new name. I'm sure somebody's done this. I'm sure. There's like way too many podcasts for this to have like never been done, because this is fucking great. I'm a Cancer rising, if you don't know. And Cancers in general, like if you're a Cancer rising sun or moon, you tend to really enjoy your bed. I mean, Cancer is the sign of home, right? So there's a natural affinity for comfortability and home life and all of that. And I'm a bed person. You know, those people that are bed people that aren't really like in their living room? I'm one of those. You may not have known that about me, but I love my bed. I could be in my bed all day, work from my bed, snack from my bed. I am a full on bed person. So, I don't know. Maybe I've just found the sweet spot, right? So, anyways, don't forget to sign up for the masterclass. This is the very last week. As usual, Lyra, Starseed Shadow's mascot, is over here saying, "Oh, hi." She's my beautiful black cat. She's fat as hell. I love her so much. She's my road dog. And so is Rico Suave. He's my road dog too. They're both in the bed with me. My partner would die if he knew. Yeah, he's not one of those people. He's not a bed person, and he's not an animals in the bed person. Like, what is life? Can you guys hear her purring? He's the baby angel. But literally, I am an animals in the bed person. I'm an animal person in general. Growing up, I was that kid who would bring home the stray dogs. We had tons of animals growing up: rabbits, guinea pigs, lizards, cats, dogs. Oh my God. I would have a house full if I had the option to. I just love animals so much. They're great. I've been wanting a horse lately. I know that's really random. I know that's so random, but I mean, yeah, we're talking, right? And this is a conversation. But I mean, I'm not going to get a horse anytime soon. Like, it's not on my manifestation list because they're really expensive to upkeep. And I live in the city. Like, I live in an apartment, okay? I think we need a bit more space for a horse. But if there were no rules, only energy, I'd have a horse for sure. But I've never even ridden a horse, so maybe we should start there. Should I take up horseback riding lessons? Maybe that would be a fun activity for next summer. I don't know. If I'm supposed to do it, it'll make itself known. That's kind of how I like to live my life. You know, if there are certain things I'm supposed to do, certain offers I'm supposed to create, certain opportunities I'm supposed to have, I just put it out there and I tell Source Universe to take over. Like, if I'm supposed to get horseback riding lessons, it's going to continue to come up. And then I'll know. And then I'll do it. Right? Right. Okay, weird tangent. What was I even talking about? Don't forget to sign up for the masterclass. This is the very last week to do so. 3 days. Don't let your shadow block your bag. We are going in on 3 things, 3 ways that spiritual business owners self-sabotage. I have done all 3 of them. You probably have too. No, you have. Guaranteed. So let's not do that, and let's be the 5D spiritual business owners that we know we are. And let's talk about it and shed some light onto our shadows as business owners, right? It's a party. This is a free event. There's going to be space for Q&As, hot seat coaching. I'm doing a giveaway. It's going to be a blast. Let's have a party. This is a kickoff event for Sacred and Sought After, my one-on-one business mentorship program. I have 2 spots left for the year. Why don't I give you a taste of what's inside? This is why we're doing the event. The link is in the show notes. So, what are we talking about today? The fear of success, boo. I know. It's a little sticky, right? Why do we fear being successful? I don't fear being successful, but I know that's a real thing for a lot of us. And it's a real thing that holds a lot of us back. And if we are mirrors of one another, then I can't have you being afraid to succeed, boo. I need you ready, right? If you're my mirror, I need you ready. So we're going to talk about it, right? And again, with it being Leo season, that's another reason why I decided to have this masterclass at this time. The energy of Leo, the lion, really brings a light, carefree energy to harder subjects. And that's my goal with this topic, the fear of success, and my goal for the masterclass, right? To not make shadow work feel so fucking sticky, because it really can be fun, right? Exploring and expanding and acknowledging your shadows can really be a place of strength and growth and honestly a lot of fun. And so I've had people in my DMs talk to me about this, and I've had clients, private clients, talk to me about this idea of success and pulling the trigger on their business idea, or pulling the trigger on launching a course or offer, or even pulling the trigger on investing in a mentor. Any of this, right? Pulling the trigger on something that gets you out of your comfort zone, and why they haven't. And it's around this idea of being successful. And I'm sure as you're listening to me, the first thing that's coming to mind is, well, once we're successful, then we got to keep it up. That's probably the biggest thing, right? This idea of needing to keep this same energy. Once we make it, how do we keep it? And what happens if we don't keep it? And then, like, what happens if we fail? And then everybody's going to see me fail after I've done this. And then what? You know what I mean? And there's a lot to unpack here. It's this idea of being judged and judgment, and this idea of not being taken seriously and criticism. Here's the thing, babe. Your success is my success, and my success is your success. So first of all, I think we need to define what success looks like for you, because I think that word success differs from person to person, right? It also differs based on what we're talking about. Short-term success versus long-term success. Success for one person could be getting out of bed that day, babe. It could be, I've been in a depression for a week and I got out of bed today. And so for that, I'm successful. Successful for another person could be finally making 10K in their business and in a month, for example. And that's been their benchmark or their goal, to do that for a really long time. It could be a number of things. But I want you to realize this idea of, like, now I have to keep it up. That is an old way of thinking. That is a part of your conditioning, right? We must remember that when we are born into this earth, we are born underneath condition sets. All of us are. And a lot of these condition sets teach us specifically to be small, to reach for a little bit, but not a whole lot. And to sit down and shut the fuck up, vote, get your groceries, work your 9 to 5, have the babies, meet the husband or the partner, do it again. Like on repeat, right? And so it's almost like when you see a really successful person, like I think of like basketball players or like really established actors, right? They seem so far away from us, right? They seem like, oh, wow, like they're super successful. Like I could never get there. I could never do that. That's not in the cards for me. Have those thoughts crossed your mind? It's a part of your conditioning. Who said that you could never get there? Who said that you can't make $1 million in your business? Who said that you can't go on a private yacht? Who said that you can't even work for yourself? Who said that you have to have children? Who said that you have to get married? And if somebody did say that, what makes their word right or wrong, even if it is your mama? I know it's your mom, but she doesn't have to be right. You know what I mean? I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. And so in this new earth, in the 5D, in the new way that we are choosing to experience money, earth, and each other, also comes a new way of experiencing success. And realizing that success is not only attainable, but it's what you deserve. And this idea of having to keep that same energy is honestly really a figment of your imagination. Like, I think of like, first of all, I am not a sports person, so nobody come for me when I give you this example, okay? I'm trying my best here. But when the basketball players, like Michael Jordan or whatever, right, doing those 3-point shots, I think is what they are. How many times do you think that man practiced those shots before he actually got on the court? Boo, I was going to say stage and then field. And then I was like, both of those are wrong. Anyways, but what we need to recognize when it comes to success is like we aren't seeing the background of somebody else's success. We're only seeing the finished product. And so this idea of I have to keep this same energy if I'm successful. No, babe, it's no and it's yes. What I'm getting at is that background energy that nobody is seeing, that same energy you have to keep, right? That same energy is important to keep. The consistency. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Spirit. Success equals consistency. So it's not about going on Instagram and bragging about your 10K month. It's about the systems and support that got you there and making sure you can still do it. If March was a 10K month, January, February, March, April, and April wasn't a 10K month, does that mean you're not successful? And by whose fucking standards? Like, we cannot worry about somebody else's definition of success and what they think of you if you fall. I want you to fall. I do. Because you know what that means? You're going to either stay on the floor or you're going to get back up. And I hope to God that you decide to get back up. Because you getting back up is showing somebody else out there that they can get back up too. So it's not about keeping the same energy when you're successful. It's about understanding that Your definition of success is going to ebb and flow, and your level of success is going to evolve as you become more successful, right? My version of successful 5 years ago was different than it is now. My version of successful once upon a time was getting a 100% tip on a table that I waited on, which would happen often. I was a pretty great server. I'm sure you can imagine. Some of my bosses might disagree, but I was the fucking shit, okay? I just talked a lot. That's why I podcast now. But anywho, my definition of success has changed. When you were first starting your business, your definition of success may be getting 5 clients that month. Do you think that's going to be the same for you as you move forward? You want those definitions to expand. You want them to. Another reason why we fear success is, God, babe, this one is going to be so relatable. It's so hard to talk about because it's something that I have experienced a lot of, actually. This idea of fear of losing friends, right? There's a reason why they say it's lonely at the top. There's a reason why they say that. This idea of losing friends happens as you move through your spiritual awakening journey. It also happens as you build your business, and it also happens as you become more successful. It's almost like you start shedding layers of people that you shared energy with. Okay, here's what I'm getting at. Being successful is a frequency. It's a fucking flex, bruh. It's a flex, it's a frequency, it's a vibe. And as you become more successful in your life, I'm going to reference this mind, body, soul connection again. You start recognizing what it takes to be successful. And you start implementing those things. You start recognizing, for example, I need to get 8 hours of sleep to be successful. Like right now, personally, I'm working with my relationship with alcohol. I don't have a problem with alcohol by any means, but I just don't think I want to drink anymore. It's not serving me. It's not really serving me anymore. When I do drink, I always feel like shit the next day. And, I am working on my physical vessel right now, and I'm busy with lots of projects, and it's just not really serving me. So why? That's kind of where I'm at with alcohol. Like, why? And so that's what I mean when I talk about success and being successful. The more successful you get, the more you start to recognize what it takes to get to that next level. It's a level. It's like one of those fucking video games. Like I think of Mario when he's jumping on those different thingies. I'm not a video gamer either, guys. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But anyways, this idea of losing friends, you start vibrating at a higher frequency. And sometimes the people that you've been associating with aren't at that frequency with you. And so you grow apart and you maybe stop talking as much. And that could be for a number of reasons. That could be because these friends are feeling some sort of way, so they pull back. That could be because you start to recognize maybe the friendship isn't good for you. That could be both. But I'm going to tell you that that is a part of becoming successful. And for you and for anybody who's listening who maybe might feel like they have a fear of success, I want you to have an honest conversation and ask yourself, am I afraid to be alone? Am I afraid to lose my friendships, right? It is insane how many friends I used to have. IRL, I should say IRL, versus how many friends in real life that I have now. And to be quite honest with you, boo, I'm okay with it. I am a very goal-oriented person. And so, I'm interested in creating friendships that are doing the same thing. I want to be friends with other entrepreneurs. I want to be friends with other gym rats. I want to be friends with other intuitives and psychics and healers and witches and mystics. I want to be friends with those sorts of people. I want to be friends with people who are glass half full and not glass half empty. I want to be friends with people who channel Metatron. Like, those are the people I'm calling into my life, you know? And so it's okay if certain people no longer vibrate at the frequency that I'm at. In fact, I want to shake that off because energy is contagious. So if I want to keep leveling up and I want to keep exploring what success means to me, I have to let some of those people go. And that's fucking okay. You know what I mean? I want to talk about two more things around fear of success. Fear of the spotlight. This is a visibility block, babe, also known as a witch wound, honey. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, when I talk about the witch wound, I have an episode on that and on imposter syndrome as well. But in a nutshell, the witch wound is this idea of being persecuted for your gifts, right? Of being made fun of quite literally being killed, murdered, or hung for being a medicine woman, for being a mystic, for being a psychic and intuitive, tarot reader, astrologer, all of that. Because those things quite literally happened to all of us in our lineage. You know, if you're listening to this, you're spiritual in some way. And so there's probably some sort of trauma that happened in your lineage around this, which has turned into a witch wound that lives inside of us, right? Um, and so the witch wound I've seen manifest as this fear of being visible, of being in the spotlight, right? All eyes on you. Everybody's looking at you. You know, you pull this amazing dream client and you want to talk about it, but then you're like, fuck, if I talk about it, then that means all eyes are on me. And what if I can't reproduce it? You know, like what happens then? Or what if I do something wrong? All of those things. Um, it's part of it. Number one. Number two, successful people are in the spotlight. And so we have to learn to stretch our visibility muscle and get used to being seen. Successful people are seen, they're admired, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? And I guess one thing I should say is on different levels, not every single successful person. Okay, so like, what am I trying to say? Not every successful person is like celebrity status, like boom, babe, everybody's looking at me, right? There are people that are successful. There are millionaires on this earth that we've never even heard of their names. That's what I'm getting at. But I'll bet you people in their circles know them. It's like, think about the fashion industry. I'm not really into like marks. Designer labels, I should say. I said marks because in Spanish, the word for marks is marcas. And so that's where my brain went. I don't know if you know, I'm bilingual. And so that's where my brain went. But anyways, so designer labels, right? Or what is that? The Met Gala? I don't go to that shit. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who these people are. But somebody who's into fashion, who's into that, they'd be like, oh my God, you went to, like, who did you see? Like, you know, I hope you know what I mean. So that's what I'm getting at. Anyways, I digress. Going back to spotlight, you're going to be in the spotlight of your niche if you're successful, and that's okay. And so ways to kind of like work with your visibility muscle if you are feeling particularly averse to being in the spotlight, or if that like that idea of being in the spotlight makes your nervous system like tweak the fuck out, for lack of a better word, start slow. Number one. So start with the things that you want to do, but you haven't done yet because of fear of being in the spotlight. So some examples, it could be just posting something online. let's say you're not even there yet. Maybe start with posting 3 times a week. And it could be just anything at all, right? It could be your fucking cat. Posting your face online, that's a big one. I've seen this with my clients. I've seen this with a lot of people not wanting to post their face online for whatever reason, or feeling like they have to be like fully done up to do that. So I went through that before, feeling like I had to be done up. I may be exaggerating that a little bit because I'm trying to think about it and I'm like, I've always kind of just shown up. But my point being is what I started to do I would go on my stories, like in my bonnet, and just go on my stories at nighttime, like when I had a thought or I had something I wanted to say, I would purposely like go on my stories fully undone to try to break any sort of barrier I had. It was YouTube. I felt like I had to go on YouTube fully done up. That's what it was. So I would do that, and that really helped. So wherever you're at with that sort of stuff, right? Let's say you want to start a podcast, but I don't know what to talk about, like being on the spotlight, like what if nobody cares about my opinion or something like that? Start off small. What are you good at now? Are you good at talking on your stories now? Maybe just make extended stories where you're just talking extra long. So you get used to working that muscle. The visibility is a muscle. And your visibility block, we all have some sort of visibility block. The difference is the degrees vary. That's the difference. Some visibility blocks are stronger or bigger than others, right? And so either way, this fear of being successful and this fear of being in the spotlight, we got to do something about those visibility blocks. And so you really want to stretch that muscle however you see fit, right? And if you're starting from the very beginning with just getting out there, I mean, start written, start a blog, or like start talking to a friend. Start talking to a friend about what you want to do. This is one thing I teach inside the Divinity series, which is in the Lightworkers Academy library, by the way. You can check it out in the show notes. Shameless plug. Oh my God, as I was plugging, I lost my thought. Dios mio. So what I was saying was blogging, starting a blog, showing up. Oh, a friend. That's what I was talking about. Tell a friend what your dreams and aspirations are. And I'm so serious, man. I talk to my partner all the time about what my goals are in this business. My goal is to make X amount of money. My goal is to enroll X amount of people in the library. Like, this is how we make things so, babe. This is how we manifest. We speak that shit into existence. And so when it only lives in your head, we're not doing ourselves any sort of favors because it just lives there. So I highly suggest speaking out what you want to do. Another big one is the fear of change, right? The fear of change, darling. I think we can all relate to that. Change can be scary, and I've said this before on the pod, and it's worth repeating. Our ego sometimes does its ego thing when it comes to change and really kind of fucking resists. And then we find ourselves sabotaging, come to the masterclass, sabotaging ourselves when it comes to our business and when it comes to our business goals, because the idea of change scares us, right? The idea of not working our normal job and potentially working for ourselves scares us. The idea of making all of our money from our business scares us. The unpredictability of entrepreneurship scares us, right? There's so many things, and your nervous system like tweaks out, right? And so because of that, we find ourselves self-sabotaging our success because we'd much rather be unsuccessful than work through change. And so if you're one of those people that find change to be difficult or change to be hard, don't be a bitch. I wish I had something better to say. No, seriously though, change is good. Change is good. And I have definitely been one of those people. So I'm a weirdo. This is where my Cancer rising really comes out. I can do all the changing, but people around me can't. I like tweak out if people around me do changes and like leave. But I can up and move to Budapest. But if my best friend decided to move to Budapest, oh my God, the world is ending. I know, how selfish of me, right? But no, seriously though, change is a part of it. And we have to remember that change equals growth, right? It really does. And I think it's really important to remember, especially if you're somebody who has a hard time with change. I think it's really important to remember that change isn't a bad thing, that change can really be medicine. Think about when you move things around in your bedroom and you change the energy up. Think about when you finally decided to leave that shitty ass fucking relationship. Think about when you decided to actually build your business and you got your first paying client and how that felt. Associate those emotions with change versus like, oh my God, things are changing. What? No, I need them to stay the same. I'm tweaking out, nervous system overload. I'm overstimulated. Don't touch my things. We're in 5D, baby. And that's 3D energy. And I think we all can be better at leaving 3D energy in the 3D. I think we all need to be better at leaving 3D energy in the 3D. We are a group of change makers. I need you to understand that. The spiritual community as a whole, we are a group of change makers. People have never been more interested in their personal development through the lens of spirituality like they have in these past years. And so we have to get comfortable with change. We have to get comfortable with evolution. And we have to recognize that our expansion is dependent on changing something. And our business is dependent on changing something. We're going to change so many things in our business. Sometimes, well, like one thing works, sometimes it doesn't, right? Like your business, like I hate to break it to you if you haven't figured this out yet, but your business is one big system of change. Did that work? No. Try this. Did that work? Yeah. Okay, let's do that, but bigger. Did that work? Yeah. Okay, now let's apply that to that. Did that work? No. Okay, let's tweak that. That's all the fuck it is, babe. I'm telling you, from somebody who's been in business for 4.5 fucking years, that's really what it is. What's working, what's not working, and what feels really fucking good for your nervous system. And you get some help along the way, whether it's through mentorship, through courses and offers, through programs, whatever it is. And so you being afraid of change cannot be a reason why you block your success. We have to be open to receiving. I am open to receiving any and all changes necessary for my evolution. I am open to receiving any and all changes necessary for my expansion, for my business expansion, for my abundance, my development, right? Again, we're fucking glass half full people here in the Goddess Complex, okay? In the Starseed Shadows universe, that pessimism, no, baby. No space for it. No space for it. Okay, let me check my notes. Is there anything else I want to talk about here? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about these two. Backlash and not being good enough. Okay, babe, if you are listening to this, you kind of know how I roll. Backlash, fuck the haters. Like, let the haters hate, babe. The haters are fucking fans. We don't have time for somebody else's opinion. What do they say? Somebody else's opinion of you is not your business. It's the truth. And I know it's easier said than done, but I'm telling you, again, goes back to witch wound too. As you start being more open about your soul work in your business and you start claiming it and you claim your work as an entrepreneur and you claim your work in whatever area of expertise you're in, the more you start recognizing that people will have something to fucking say. And you don't have time for that because you're busy building a motherfucking empire, boo. Period. That's it. That's it. I will be damned if I let you be afraid to succeed because you're worried about what somebody else is going to think. It's just not going to happen that way. No. What was the other thing I said? Not being good enough. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. That is a thing. Here's what I can tell you when it comes to that. First of all, you are good enough. And I know that might sound super cliche, like, thanks, Mom. But for real, though, like, you are good enough. Like, we have to recognize not everybody's made to be an entrepreneur and not everybody succeeds at entrepreneurship. So most of us will succeed very nicely at a regular job. And that's cool. We need people in regular jobs, right? That nothing's wrong with that. But this idea of like not being good enough, this is about just knowing that you are and taking the steps necessary to know that you are. So that means also being like a forever student. If you're an astrologer, don't stop studying because you think you know it all, right? Like, we always want to be expanding. And so with our success and with our expansion, also our personal growth comes. Like I said, I have my own business mentor and I do business mentorship. I have my own astrologer and I am an astrologer, right? You guys know I gym really heavy. I have a fucking masseuse. I take care of myself, right? To make sure that like I'm okay. And so it's about making sure, especially if you suffer from this and if you think you're not good enough, it's about reinstilling the fact that you are perfectly perfect and also not overselling yourself. Like, is that a good way to put it? Like, for example, if you're just starting out in astrology, I wouldn't offer Chiron readings. If you've only been studying astrology for a month, I don't think I would offer Chiron readings. Do you know what I mean? Maybe if you've been studying astrology for a while, maybe you offer sun sign readings. I'll do a reading for your sun sign. You own what you can hold. That's what I'm getting at. And that's a beautiful art of owning what you can hold, because honestly, that is really only going to help you not be in that pocket of not feeling like you're good enough, because you are very self-aware of what you can hold. I hope that makes sense. And also with that too, one thing that's coming through is just a reminder to lean into what you love. Don't feel like you have to offer something because everybody else is. Even if what you love is like really niche specific or like maybe oddball-y, you have to remember, like, we're a group of oddballs, okay? Somebody is going to want it, whatever you want to offer. So don't feel like you have to offer something because everybody else is, because that's a great way to get trapped into that not feeling good enough thing too, because what you're trying to sell or offer is not aligned with what you want to do. So keep that in mind too. Okay? I hope this episode found you well, and I hope that you understand this whole idea around the fear of being successful and all of that. It's part of the earth game. We have to move through it like we have to move through anything, through all the things, but we don't have to do it alone. And I will just want you to remember that. We don't have to do any of this alone. We're not made to. We're very social creatures. Okay, don't forget to share the episode, okay? I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao for now. Hey, babe, did you love the episode? I sure hope so. Don't forget to enter that contest to win a $500 voucher to be used inside of the Starseed Shadows universe on anything you want. How amazing, right? So here's how you enter. You leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you take a screenshot of the review and tag me in it at Starseed Shadows on Instagram. Super easy, super simple. Rate the review on Apple Podcasts. Put it in your stories on IG, tag me in it, and you will be entered to win a $500 voucher to be used on anything inside of the Starseed Shadows universe. We choose a new winner each month. So let's get it, babe. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Hello, friends. I hope you loved today's episode. Make sure you share it with a friend, share it with somebody that you love, and tag me on the gram at AshleyMichelle90day and let me know your thoughts. Leaving that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify is literally what helps this work get to the right people. As you may or may not know, we are in the middle of a spiritual revolution, and us being able to get our hands on resources like this podcast and others is what is literally going to make the world go round. So do me this favor and please leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and share the episode with somebody you love. It really, truly does mean the world to me. I love you so very much, and I will see you in the next one.